Well, good morning, everybody. It is so great to be with you. Jonathan Herron coming to you live from the High Five State. That's right, we are in Saginaw, Michigan. Saginawsome Life Church's Saginaw campus. It is so great to be with you on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram Live. Buckle up, Buttercup. Grab yourself a notebook. Get some strong coffee into your system. Caffeine. Because this morning I want you to get fired up. I want you, wherever you're at in life, in leadership, with your legacy, to be fearless. We live in a time, in a season, in a generation where people have been holed up in their apartments, in their bedrooms, in their homes, with so much unknown. It's said that there are two things that the human mind fears. The first is fear of isolation. The second is not having control. And so, in the last 15 months, when the world called a timeout on everyone, we have all lost a sense of control of our lives, and we feel more isolated than ever. Depression rates are going up, people contemplating suicide are going up, passion and purpose is going down. And I believe that you are positioned perfectly to make a difference in your life, your leadership, your legacy. I'm serious. I'm talking to you. Don't say, oh, I'm just a school teacher. Oh, I'm just this or that. No. You matter. And what you have to offer your organization, your family, your business, it is huge. It's time for you to become fearless. In the book of Acts, chapter 17, it says, these men who have turned the world upside down have now come here. That's what I want for you and for our generation. Let's turn the world upside down. Where other people see obstacles, I see opportunity. Where others see setbacks, I see a setup for your comeback. Here are the 10 steps to becoming a fearless leader in your life, in your leadership, in your legacy. 10 steps to becoming a fearless leader, and I highly recommend that you write these down. You can even type these into an email, send it off to your team, and you can take credit. You don't have to give me credit. I just want to help you go further, faster. But you gotta be fearless. It's time to take those butterflies in the stomach and exterminate them. Your season to rise up and to press forward is now. 10 steps to becoming a fearless leader. And let me know in the comments section which of these 10 steps really speaks to you and your organization. Here we go. The first of 10 steps to becoming a fearless leader. Number 1, you gotta hustle. Hustle. I have a huge sign in my study that says hustle, a verb, the greatest word ever. You've got to believe in what you bring to the table so deeply, so passionately, that it keeps you up at night. And when you wake up, you can't wait to jump out of bed, go through your morning routines that set you up for success, and hustle to get after it. If you're the leader of your organization, you have to out-hustle the rest of your team. So at Life Church, the church that I love, the church that I serve, the church that I lead, I have amazing staff, ministry interns, and volunteers. The volunteers at Life Church we lovingly refer to as lifers because they are all in. It's not a casual faith. They really believe it. They're not sitting in the bleachers just shouting out, "Hey, bad call, ref," getting fat bellies from hot dogs and beer. No, the glory is found on the field. When you leave the bleachers, roll up your sleeves and say, "Put me in, coach. Let's hustle." And if you're the leader, you set the bar, you guard the bar. If you want to see your team, your interns, your volunteers bleed out passion for something greater than themselves, then you have to out-hustle the rest of your organization. I learned this from Dave Ramsey, the author of EntreLeadership. EntreLeadership is an amazing book. I don't get a kickback for saying that. I just really believe in it. In fact, EntreLeadership is one of 2 books that we really based the practices of our church on when we started it from scratch 8 years ago. So highly recommend that you get EntreLeadership by Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey says in there that he will never have a team member out-hustle him. Like, I'm going to work harder. I'm going to stay longer. I'm going to make it happen. I'm willing to sacrifice myself for this vision. But the fun is when we do it together. So hustle, hustle, hustle. If you want to be a fearless leader, that's the first of 10 steps to being a fearless leader. The second step, whatever you do it right, do it big. So at Life Church, we don't have a ton of programs. That's the problem with the American church and why 85 to 90% of churches nationwide are plateaued or declining, just going around in circles, cul-de-sacs for the kingdoms, not seeing new birth from babies, not seeing new birth from people coming to Christ. They are ineffective because they are awash in mediocrity, trying to do a million things, trying to be all things to all people instead of narrowing the focus to do just a few things really well. For example, look at Chick-fil-A. You cannot go into Chick-fil-A and order a filet mignon. It's not on the menu. You cannot go into Chick-fil-A and order pancakes and bacon. It's not something that they specialize in. Instead, they have a very simple menu. They narrow the focus to do just a few things really well. Scientific studies show that consumers are overwhelmed and paralyzed by indecision when you try to do too many things. Have you ever walked into a fast food restaurant and they have a million different offerings, or you look at the menu and the menu needs a bookmark, it's so long. You become paralyzed by indecision. Should I go with the salad, or am I more of a soup person, or should I go for a burger? I just can't decide. Can we have a few minutes? Studies show that when you narrow the focus, you not only help better serve your clients, but you also excel and become known for what you specialize in. So at Life Church, we choose to do it right, do it big. We do just a few things really well. And we're not going to do it half-cocked. We're not going to just show up and cross our fingers. You know, oh, we hope that the Holy Spirit moves. No, the Holy Spirit is involved during the planning from Monday through Saturday, so that Sunday is something that we can make it big and make it right. So those are the first two steps to being a fearless leader. One, you got to hustle. You got to have that inner drive. You need to be the hamster on the hamster wheel. Number two, you got to do it right, do it big. Excellence honors God. It inspires people. Number three, write this down. Write this down. Number three, make it better. I learned this core value from my friend Bob Franquiz. He leads one of the fastest growing churches in America down in Miramar, Florida. Florida must be hard, huh? With 24/7 heat and sun. His church, Calvary Fellowship, has quickly reached a lot of people who would never darken a church door. And one of the secrets to their success is they believe every Monday is an opportunity to make Sunday better. In order to make it better in your life, your leadership, your legacy, you have to be radically honest with yourself and with your team. So after a Sunday, you circle back together on a Monday and have a post-mortem. That's where you lay out all the cards. You do a weekend scorecard. You celebrate the wins, because what gets celebrated gets repeated. Ooh, that's good. Some of y'all need to write that down and shoot that out to your team. What gets celebrated gets repeated. So if you want your kids to get better grades, celebrate when they come home with a B or an A. What's celebrated gets repeated. And then at this post-mortem, you have to be honest, raw, leave your ego at the door. We ain't got no room for anybody's swagger. If we want to make it better, we got to be honest and share what went wrong or what missed the mark, what could have been improved upon. When we maintain a posture of humility, then we're able to learn from one another, to listen to each other, and together we win. That way you can say, this didn't work, so let's make it better. We have the gift of time, Monday through Saturday, to make 1 hour on Sunday the best hour in someone's week. When someone leaves Life Church, we want them to feel refreshed, fired up for the week ahead, and excited about next Sunday. That only happens if the team is willing to do whatever it takes to make it better. No coasting, no cruise control, because number one, we're going to hustle. Number two, we're going to do it right, do it big. Number three, we're going to make it better. There you go. We're a third of the way just about through our 10 steps to fearless leadership. Those of you watching on YouTube Live or Facebook Live, in the comments below, drop me a comment. Tell me which of those 3 steps spoke the most to you and why. I'm going to grab a swig of coffee here. Oh, sweet caffeine. We're continuing right along. 10 steps to fearless leadership. I believe in you. You can do this. I can help. These are the 10 leadership core values that I aspire for and that I try to ingrain in my staff, in my interns, in my volunteers, not through preaching it at them, but through living it. Because it's always what is caught, not what is taught, that is most impactful. So 10 steps to fearless leadership. Step number 4. Shoot straight. Don't be crooked with people. Be honest. Tell the truth. Your moral authority, the trust people have in you, can take years to gain and can be shattered in an instant. We live in a time, we live in a culture where everyone has been lied to. You've been lied to by politicians. You've been lied to by talking heads on television. You've been lied to by relatives. You've been lied to by people on social media. Trust in the American church has dropped to an all-time low. Only 37% of Americans trust the local church. Trust in institutions has dropped. Nobody trusts big business. Nobody trusts politicians. The only institution that continues to get high marks for trust is the military. In the military, you always tell the truth. You shoot straight. That's how you earn trust and discipline. And so if you want to be a fearless leader, if you want to achieve new heights in your life, in your leadership, in your legacy, you have got to shoot straight with people. So for the past 8 years with Life Church, going from 0 to at one point 1,200 people, that was before COVID hit, we've always maintained an open door policy. Anybody can ask anything, anytime. Now we do it privately, not publicly. We do it in humility, not in confrontation, but we have open door policy. You can go up to any staff, any intern, anyone, ask anything to anyone about anything. As long as you have pure motives, as long as you're coming from an honest place, you're going to get an honest answer always. We shoot straight with people. Now, sometimes people don't like hearing the truth. It's like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. Oh, you can't handle the truth. But we always just tell the truth. And we always keep written records so that we can show people that we are leading in honesty and transparency with integrity. In fact, I am proud that our church is one of the few churches in the country that I know of that is completely transparent with our financial records. Seriously, you could go to lifechurchmichigan.com right now, and on the very front page is a button that says transparency. You click it, and you get real-time updates on our church finances. This is how we build trust with our donors, with the people who are investing in God's work, in the vision of Life Church. When you shoot straight, you build trust. And if you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to hide. Always shoot straight. Don't get dragged down into the mud with gossip and negativity. If someone has a question, tell them your door's open. Here's the phone number. Here's a way to reach me. Let's talk personally, privately, and whatever you need so that you can move forward, we will help you. That brings us to the 5th step of fearless leadership. Fearless leaders always use your blinker. You ever been in traffic? You're driving down the highway and then someone in the other lane cuts you off. That abruptness, it causes confusion, it causes anger, it causes frustration. Nobody likes to get cut off. No one likes surprises unless it's a birthday. In the same way, in your leadership, use your blinker. If you want to maintain trust, if you want to be a trustworthy leader worth following, then always loop people in as early as possible to your thinking. Now, for some of us who are very type A and linear, that's simple because you have long-range plans. Your long-range plans have long-range plans. For some of us who are more artistic and creative, like my training is in improv comedy. So my brain has been trained, been rewired to make associations between things very quickly. And then it's amplified by ADHD. That means I have to work hard to loop people in so that they're not surprised. When people aren't surprised by change, they can trust the leader to shepherd them through the change. But if you spring something on someone, people don't like surprises unless it's a birthday. So use your blinker. Over communicate. By the time that you are sick and tired of saying that same vision statement or sharing that same big idea, that's when the person in the back row is just starting to grasp it. This is why in advertising, people have to hear the same sticky message 7 to 10 times before it even registers. There is so much interruption media, starting from the smartphone when you're getting out of bed, through Netflix, through billboards, radio, Sirius, whatever, that if you're trying to get across a big idea, you need a big blinker. Use your blinker. Over-communicate through email, text, personal, phone call, web, whatever. When people see the direction you're switching in lanes, they're able to trust, they're able to hitch onto your vehicle and have smooth ride forward. So we're halfway through. We're almost to the finish line. 10 steps to fearless leadership. Let's do a review of numbers 1 through 5. Number 1, fearless leaders hustle. We don't have time for sloths. Don't hire people that you have to motivate. I would rather have to slow down a lion than motivate a mule. Hustle. Number 2, do it right, do it big. Number 3, make it better. When you are making things better, you're letting other people know that you are teachable, that you are humble, and people want to get on board with any organization, any church that is striving to get better every single week. Number 4, shoot straight. If you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to hide. Always have an open door. And number 5, use your blinker. Don't assume people know how you think. You are weird. You think weird. That's what makes you a leader. And if you want people to stay on board, you got to use your blinker. Give them a heads up. Help them understand why you're doing what you're doing so that they can join in the adventure and together you all win. That brings us to number 6. The 6th step to becoming a fearless leader is to think humor over hammer. Think like a comedian, not a boring lecturer. Think humor over hammer. Laughter is universal. The quickest way to gain trust with a new audience, make them laugh. Make fun of yourself. Show that you have humility, that you're not taking yourself seriously. Like at Life Church, we do not take ourselves seriously, but we take our faith seriously. People love a relaxed environment where you're not stodgy, you're not judgy. Instead, we're in this together. Something beautiful happens when we can all crack up and say, oh yeah, I've done that. I understand what you're saying. That happened to me too. You don't need to be the hero of every story. People can't connect with someone who's perfect. But if you're willing to share some of your failures or some of your hiccups, people identify with that because every day we make mistakes. So you don't need to yell or pound people down. Lift them up. Think humor over hammer. If you're trying to hammer people with truth, rules. Listen, rules without relationship lead to rebellion. That's a parenting tip right there. Rules without relationship always leads to rebellion. And I know some of us say, well, you just gotta get in their faces. Listen, the preacher who preaches angry and yells all the time eventually loses his voice. Think humor over hammer. You can get more tips on comedy-driven leadership in my bestseller, Holy Shift, available on Amazon.com. Number 7, create a culture of honor. We live in a cancel culture where people assume the worst instead of believing the best. Lead from the front by honoring from the very beginning everyone around you. You want to honor up, honor down, honor side to side. Honor up is speaking well and supporting and cheerleading the leaders above you. Instead of getting caught saying something negative behind your boss's back, get caught saying something positive and being supportive. Everybody loves a cheerleader. That's a way to show honor up. Same with showing honor down. Speak well of people. Breathe life into them. Side to side, your peers. Don't make yourself the bright peacock. Share the spotlight with them. In improvisational comedy, the whole idea of creating comedy on the spot on stage is to support your partner, to make the other women and men on stage look better than you. Because when you have the support of your team, when you support each other, you are free to play, free to imagine, free to laugh, and something special comes out of the group. Create a culture of honor. Reject poisonous cultures of dishonor, disunity, splitting apart. Which brings us to our 8th step of fearless leadership. Believe the best. Choose to believe the best, not assume the worst. You know, in the scriptures, it says in 1 Corinthians 13 that love always assumes the best about someone and never the worst. And love never gives up on anyone. So believing the best means if someone is running late for your meeting, you don't jump to conclusions. You don't fill the information gap with negativity. Oh, they're just blowing us off. No, you choose to believe the best. Oh, I hope they're okay. Maybe they're having car problems. Maybe their kid is sick. Maybe they wrote down the wrong time for the meeting. Believe the best. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Listen, we're all human. We all blow it. We all make mistakes. Because we're all rough drafts of the person we're becoming. Treat others as you would want to be treated. When there is a gap in your information, don't go with the whispers at the salon. Go to the person. Fill in that gap with truth from the source. That's how you continue to build trust and have unity and move forward fearlessly. Always choose to believe the best about someone's motivations, not to assume the worst. Number 9, we're almost there. Do me a favor on YouTube, on Facebook Live, in the comments below. I've already given you 8 steps to fearless leadership. I would love to hear which one of these has jumped out at you. Which one can you take and run with your team or your family this week? Let me know in the comments below. The 9th step to fearless leadership, it's a numbers game. Keep track of the numbers. It's all about the numbers. The Bible even has a book called the Book of Numbers. People matter. You want to keep track of people, their progress. Post-COVID, it's not how many people walk through the doors of your shop. It's not how many people are sitting in the pews of your church. It's how many people are moving forward. They're going from click to connection. They're taking steps forward with your business or in your classroom or at your church. Keep track of those numbers so that you can see trends. Trends change based on seasons. Right now we're in the summer vacation season. So unless you're in a resort town, your numbers for people being engaged should be down, and that's okay because there's a season to rest, and farmers know that when the soil has rested, then you can plant the seed and fertilize and water and see the fruit grow. Tracking numbers helps you to plan more efficiently for the future. When you see last year's trends compared to this year's trends, it tells you where you're making progress and where you need to make it better. So keep track of engagement numbers. How many people are purchasing this item in your business? How many students are moving up a letter grade by this time in the school year? How many congregants in your church are active in a small group, not just sitting in a pew? How many are serving instead of sitting? And that brings us to the 10th and final step of fearless leadership. I hope that this has been helpful to you because I've had a lot of fun reviewing these with you. Number 1 was hustle. Number 2 was do it right, do it big. Number 3, make it better. Number 4 is shoot straight, tell the truth always. Number 5 is use your blinker. Number 6, think humor over hammer. Number 7 is create a culture of honor and integrity. Number 8 is choose to believe the best about people's intentions, not assume the worst. Number 9 that we just covered is it's all about the numbers. It's a numbers game, baby. And number 10, last but not least, you have to own it. If you're the leader of your house or of your apartment or of your classroom or of your business or of your church, you are responsible at the end of the day for everything that happens. It's about extreme ownership. The leader who's always pointing fingers and giving excuses loses their authority in people's eyes. But the fearless leader who is willing to swallow their pride and say, you know what, at the end of the day, it really does fall on my shoulders because I hired that person, or I allowed that type of culture to continue occurring and didn't stop it. Whatever it is, own it. It's not fun sometimes, but it's the right thing to do. People need to know that you are able to take responsibility and to learn from that experience so that you can make it better. The 3 most powerful words that any leader can honestly say are, I am sorry. And if you aren't sure how to apologize to someone, if you aren't sure how to make it right with someone, the best apology that I know of is to go to that person in all honesty, with no ego, no swagger, and to say, I am sorry. I was only thinking about myself. Confess your sins so that you might be healed, the book of James says. That's how you restore, reconcile, and begin to build trust to move forward together. And don't forget that together we win. So there you go. 10 steps to fearless leadership. Let me know in the comments below which of these stood out to you, or which of these you have questions about that I could tackle next Wednesday. I would love to connect with you over on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Jonathan Herron. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just posted a bunch of new videos yesterday, including a video on the one thing you should never apologize for. That's on youtube.com/Jonathan Herron. And of course, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those places, same name, at High Five John. This has been fun coming to you from Life Church's Saginaw campus. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope to connect with you on the Fearless Leadership Podcast. And until then, enjoy your burrito.